Okay, how many kids, by the way, how many kids go home and if they're struggling with their homework, how many kids are actually going to the video and maybe watching section? So we have some kids at, good, good, good. Shh. Here's our job for today. And sorry, I must have done this too quickly because I cut off part of this, but it'll be okay. We'll be able to figure this out. Our job for today is to be, well, I don't want that to go off. Well, anyways, your job is to be able to convert between improper fractions and mixed numbers, or to go between mixed numbers and improper fractions. Okay? So we better know what an improper fraction is, right? Are we taking down notes or are we coloring? Because if we're coloring, that's not okay. If you're taking down notes, I'm okay with that. Thank you. That was a good choice. All right. So an improper fraction. Without looking, I'm going to cover it up. See how I covered it up? What is an improper fraction? What is? Okay, color.
It's when the numerator is larger than the denominator.
True or false? True. When the numerator is greater than the denominator, we have something that's called an improper fraction. Kids, you can answer any question you want as an improper fraction. It's okay. However, when you get to multiple choice type questions, every once in a while, you will have only mixed numbers that will be in the selection. And every once in a while, and I'll give you a hint, this will be on your semester final, there'll be multiple answers that are correct. One of the answers will be an improper fraction. The other one will be the exact answer that's the mixed number. And you have to select them both. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so we do need to be able to convert between both and know which is which and when to use what. Okay, so improper fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator. Numerator is big, denominator is smaller. Okay, a proper fraction is just when the numerator is less than the denominator. Okay, and I really wish they would have put mixed number. What is a mixed number? What is a mixed number? Emma?
If it's like a whole number and a fraction, or a decimal and a fraction.
Sure, a whole number and a fraction, or a whole number and a decimal. Okay? So when we're talking about improper fractions, essentially we're talking about mixed numbers. They're one and the same because we have more than one. Anytime the numerator is bigger than the denominator, we have at least one, sometimes even more than one. Okay? So here's some, this is supposed to say additional examples. And I think this is supposed to be Ella hiked 9/4 hours. Did Ella hike for more than an hour?
Yeah.
How do you know that Ella hiked for more than 1 hour? Yeah. Did everybody hear that? Awesome. He said that if she hiked for 1 hour, it would be 4/4, which is 1. And we obviously have more than 4/4. That's good. We also know that that's true because of what we just talked about with improper fractions. Our numerator is greater than our denominator. So it's going to be our job today to take this 9/4 and convert that into a mixed number. How many hours and then how many parts of an hour did she actually hike? Okay. So if we look at this number model here, we can see that here's 4. Does everybody agree that this right here is 4/4? And what does 4/4 equal? 1 whole. And here's another 4/4. And that equals 1 whole. And if we look at these two combined, 4/4 and 4/4, we have a grand total of 8/4 or 2 wholes. I want to show you that. Shh. 8/4 is 2. Does everybody agree with that? What is 8 divided by 4? Kids, every fraction is a division problem, and every division problem can be written as a fraction. The sooner we know that, the better. Okay? everybody see how 9/4 ends up being, here's 4/4, 8/4 plus one more 9/4 becomes 2 wholes and 1/4. Okay? Now here's the easiest way that kids do this. They say 9/4 and they will say, how many 4s will go into 9? And class, how many 4s will go into 9? 2. With how many left over? 1 out of 4. Now, I want everybody to try this problem right now. And we're just going to run a little experiment. I want you to do this problem right here. I want you to do that problem. Mixed numbers and improper fractions. A proper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is less than the denominator. We already talked about that, right? Okay. Here are examples of improper fractions where the numerator is greater than the denominator. Look at top number bigger than the bottom number, 3/2. 8/3, top number, numerator, smaller than the denominator, 3. Okay? They're all examples of improper fractions. Even when the numerator is the same as the denominator, it's still considered an improper fraction. Okay? Improper fractions can be written as mixed numbers. And we can do this by number models if you want to. If you want to create your shapes, go ahead and create your shapes and color in. Okay? Here's 4/4. Then I make another unit equal to... Do we really need to be ripping paper and talking right now? I hope your parents listen to this video. I do. I'm sure they'd be pleased. If I have 7/4, I can create 4/4 here. Then I have to create another circle that's the same size pizza. Split it into fourths again and fill in the remaining fourths. I would need 3/4 more. So 7/4 is equal to 1 whole and 3/4. Now, we can also do that by saying, how many 4s will go into 7? And just so you know, because we just did this, it's the same thing as this right here. How many 4s will go into 7? How many 4s will go into 7? 1. 1 whole. 1 whole is 4/4. Does everybody know that? So how many 4ths do we have left over? 3/4. And look at, we have 3 left over. As we just said, this remainder, which doesn't really exist, becomes the numerator, and the number we divide by is the denominator. That's what we do with our remainders. Isn't that easy? Yeah. Compared to decimals, isn't that a lot easier? Okay. So I want you to try 1, 2, 3, and 4 down here. Can you convert those improper fractions to mixed numbers? And here's what I want you to do. On one of them, you have to draw a picture similar to this. In one of them, draw a picture. On the other 3, if you want to draw pictures, that's fine. Or you can do what I showed you up here. Okay? One of them, I'd like you to draw a picture. All right, here we go. Gave you a little bit of time there. 14/3. I went through, I saw a student who did this. Colored them in. 3/3, also known as what? 1 whole. Then did this. Same thing. 3/3, also known as 1 whole. So now we have a grand total of 6/3 or 2. Everybody agree with that? All right, so now we're going to do another group of thirds. Okay, that's another 1 whole. How many total thirds do we have? 9/3, right? 3/3, 6/3, 9/3. We got to get all the way to 14/3, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to do another one. There's 10, 11, 12. There's 12/3 so far, right? We still need more. We still need 2 more thirds, right? So we have to make another pizza and color in 2. Doesn't that equal 14 thirds? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 thirds. Everybody see how those pictures work out nicely? Okay. 4 and 2 thirds. Now, if you want to do it the way that I showed you up here, how many 3's will go into 14? How many 3's? And wouldn't we say 4? With how many left over? 2 out of 3. Okay? So how many 2's will go into 11? 5. Would everybody agree that 5 2's will go into 11? Okay? Then how much is left over? 1/2. 5 and 1/2. How many 4's will go into 15? How many 4's will go into 15? Will 4 groups of 4 go into 15? Nope, it's too many, right? So 3. 3 groups of 4 out of 4. Doesn't that equal 12 fourths? How many fourths do we have left? If we took out 12 fourths from 15 fourths, wouldn't we have 3? Okay? And how many 6's will go into 19? How many 6's? How many 6's will go into 19? 6, 12, 18, 3. How many are left over then? 1 out of 6. How'd you do? Good. Good. All right. Then we just went from improper. We went from improper to mixed. Now let's do the opposite and go from mixed to improper. Okay? And kids, you're going to be doing this quite a bit. Eventually, we're going to get into multiplying mixed numbers. And eventually, we're going to get into dividing mixed numbers. And eventually, we're going to get into adding and subtracting them. And it's way easier to convert to impropers. In fact, you have to for multiplication and division, unless you distribute. And well, I'll promise you I can show you that too. So when they say 3 1/4, here's I absolutely hate this, because kids will go like this. They say 3 1/4 looks just like this. And you say, Mr. Martin, you just go like this. Don't you remember doing this? Remember this? And you say, times here and add here. Have you guys seen that? It's just the easiest method in the world. We go 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 is 13. It's 13 fourths. Haven't you guys seen that before? It's just 4 times 3 plus 1, right? Do you? Great. Explain to me why it works.
Because, like, I do that, and then, I check and see if it is the right fraction. See if I get 3 1/4.
Can I explain real quick? This 3 right here. When we take 4 times 3, what is 4 times 3? 12. If we're going to look at that, that equals 12 out of 4. What does 12 out of 4 equal? What does 12 out of 4 equal? 3. Kids, you need to pay attention to this. If you're going to use this method, you need to know why it works. If you don't, I'm promising you, it'll be the house of pain later on in your lives when you're dealing with fractions. So I need eyes right here. I just said, we can always do denominator times whole number and then add the numerator, and we'll get the correct answer every single time. It's a quick, easy method, but you need to understand why this quick, easy method works. We do 4 times 3 right here, because 3 wholes is the same thing as 12 fourths. Everybody agree? 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that's why we do 4 times 3. That gives us our 12. And it equals 12 fourths. Now all we have to do is add 1/4 more, and we get a grand total of 13 fourths. So if you want to use that little method, you can, but you need to understand why it works. Okay? So this is a grand total of 13 fourths. I want you to try the other 3 right now. And I want to know I want you to be able to tell me for number 6, 5 is equal to how many thirds? How many thirds is just 5 equal to? How many 4 is equal to how many halves? How many halves is 4 equal to? Okay? And you should be able to answer that question if you're going to use this times this added to that. Yeah, quickly. Can only give you about 15 more seconds. No, I have one kid out right now. I can't have two at the same time. Okay, ready? 5 2/3 is how many thirds? 5 2/3 is 17 thirds. Everybody agree?
Yep.
5 alone is equal to how many thirds? How many? Did everybody hear that? 5 is 15 thirds because 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay? 3 times 5 is 15. That's why we do 3 times 5. Okay? 4 1/2 is how many halves? 4 and it's 8 halves. Well, sorry. No, 4 is 8 halves.
9.
But 4 1/2 is how many halves? 9 halves. Okay? 1 5/6. 1 is 6/6, right? 1 whole is 6/6. We take 6/6 and add it to 5/6. How many 6 do we have? 11/6. We should be okay. Let's have everybody pull out their planners, please.